My name is Patrick Cardenas, and this is 242, known as the Woman in White's room. And so one time I had a hotel guest stay here with her husband, and the husband actually got this room as a joke and didn't tell his wife that this room was haunted. He stayed downstairs and drank whiskey at the bar. She came up here and fell asleep, and while she was sleeping, she had her phone next to her, and she thought she heard something, looked up in the mirror that used to be on this wall, and this is what she captured with her phone. And this is supposedly the woman in white, okay? The thing about this photo is I've had it on my phone for about 4 or 5 years, and I've showed many people. Well, I found out when this woman died, she was associated with finding her laying halfway in the bathtub, halfway out of the bathtub, with a voodoo doll in her hand, okay? Come back to the photo. And the thing about this photo is the lady was saying that it wasn't a ghost in her room, it was one of our maids, because she doesn't believe in ghosts. So why would this maid be holding a doll in her right hand? So now I have a picture of a woman in white holding a doll, which is supposed to be a maid, which I know is the ghost. So now I have a picture of the woman in white with the doll, proof that the woman was just trying to say that it was a maid, and now we have a maid with a doll. So why would she have the doll? Okay, so this is supposedly the area where the woman in white ended her life. If you look over here at the wall, there's actually a hole right here from the bullet from the 45 that ended her life. And then if you go over here to the other side of this closet, and if you come over to this closet right here, you might need a little bit of a light, but there's a hole right here. And so if you shoot with a bullet that comes through with the 45, it's just going to blow off this side of the wall. So the thing is when the detectives came in here and they found her in there, that was the thing that was the most notable thing, was she was clenching a voodoo doll of her husband. And so that's what she's known for having when she's captured in any photos or people finding her, is she'll stand and just directly look at you and kind of just vanish while you're looking at her. And she normally doesn't look at you, she looks through you. She'll just kind of look past. She's never looking directly at you. So. And now we're just going over the mirror that we captured the second photo of the woman in white, which happened by a band called The Chills out of Australia. And the picture they captured is right here. And if you look close, there she is again. And so now that I have 2 pictures of the same ghost in 2 different mirrors by 2 different guests, as a manager, that convinces me that she's real, and she's holding the doll in both pictures. And this picture is a little bit less convincing because she's so far away, but they had a good eye. This is the Cup Cafe, and this is actually the area where I had my first experience in this building. I was actually standing behind this bar. I had just cleared the room, and my manager was standing at the doorway, and he had just asked me if I had, if everything was cool for us to close up. And as I'm standing behind the bar, I hear a little girl giggle to my left. Okay, so when I turned to look to see what was giggling, I have something grab the backside of my leg and yank on it. Okay, and that's the first time I've actually had something physically grab me, so I'm startled. But I'm security at the time, so I don't want my manager to think I'm kind of like a sissy, so I didn't really say anything to him. I walk into the lobby and turn to the front desk clerk and I go, hey man, like, what's up with the restaurant? Is it haunted? And his name was Frank at the time, and he turns to me and he goes, man, the restaurant's haunted by a little girl and she has a dog with her. And that was the thing that convinced me that it wasn't as scary anymore, because I thought it was like a little monster that laughed at me and then attacked me. But once I found out it was a little girl and the spirit of a dog, it just kind of let me know that there's a lot of spirits in this building that are probably just living their lives out, especially like a little girl and a dog. So yeah. So I was actually standing in this spot right here, and he was about where the girl in the white is. And that's when I had turned and was like, everything's okay, yeah, we could go ahead and close it down. And that's when I heard the little girl giggle, and then was kind of yanked right here. It was pretty crazy. So one time I had a guest staying here, and they were eating, and they had the little kids and everything kind of around the table. And they found a little blue ball, and the kid was telling their parents that their friend had gave him a blue ball under the table or something. They didn't think anything of it, and so then they go to one of the kids goes to the bathroom, comes back, and they can't find the blue ball. And so everybody in the restaurant's looking for this blue ball, and one of the guys at the, one of the bartenders or whatever or something turns and says, hey, this has happened many times before, and she'll show a blue ball to somebody and then it just disappears. And so I've had that happen probably 2 to 3 times since I've been working here with different kids with their parents in this Cup Cafe, which is kind of funny. And so when I have it happen, I always tell them, it's like, oh, well, you had her do something cool with the little ball instead of her little dog attacking you or something, so. Okay, so another time I had a high-class woman and her husband having a romantic dinner at this table. When they finished up their night and everything, they turned to one of our servers and was like, we don't appreciate you guys having dogs run around loose in your restaurant. And that's when our server turned to him and was like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, we were having our dinner, something licked my toe, because she had like high heels on with her toes showing. And that's when my server turned to him and was like, well, let me get my manager for you so he can explain to you why that happened. Because I think he had an experience with something like that in here. And that's when I kind of told these people the story I just told you about the dog and the little girl. And they just laughed at me. They didn't really believe me. So there's some people that come here and have experiences and they can't accept it as a spirit or something messing with them. So, but yeah, the toes. This is actually Club Congress side, so we're backstage here. I'm just letting you guys know about an area where I had another employee come to me. His name was Paul Bowman, and he works in the Sentry Room. So if you ever go to the Sentry Room, you can ask him about this story. But he was back here doing some work for us, and when he was moving something here, he had a little boy ask him, "Hey, what you doing?" And so he had that happen to him when he was back here, and that's one of his stories. But another time I had a band member come up to me and he was like, man, I was back here like testing my guitar and I heard a little boy ask me what I'm doing. And so not only did I have Paul tell the story of the little boy, but I had a guy that was just a random guitarist say the same thing to me. So that convinces me that there's a little boy back here kind of always wondering what you're doing. So. Actually the tap room, or Tiger's Tap Room, we like to call it. And I'm telling you about an experience that I had with 2 hotel guests that were here in the tap room enjoying some drinks. And we had a husband about my size, big guy, standing here. And then next to him was his wife, okay? And then there was another gentleman standing over here, just waiting for these 2 to finish their order so he could step up and make an order to the bartender. And as they were standing here, the wife was ordering her drink and all of a sudden felt somebody grab the backside of her calves, run his leg up her backside and grab her backside and squeeze. And that's when she turned and smacked the gentleman here. And when that happened, the husband was like, honey, what are you doing? Why would you do this to this gentleman? And that's when she explained exactly what I just said happened to her. I went in the office and actually looked up the video and found out that there was nobody behind her when this happened. So to make this guy not look so guilty, I took the husband and wife in the office and showed them the video of it happening so she would kind of understand that the ghost did it, nobody else. But yeah. Bye.